says you have to be in love with the problem, not the solution. And that most people's businesses fail because they're in love with their solution.
I work with a lot of founders because I'm in San Francisco, and that's the number one thing, right? Like that's the number one message to founders. It's like fall in love with the problem you're solving because the solution will evolve and, meet the problem, right? But we don't have to be tied to like it has to be the solution, right? And if you understand the problem, you're much more connected to the end customer, and what their pain points are, really.
Yeah, that perspective and why every founder should have a coach, not just a mentor, which I find with a lot of founders, like, I need a mentor to tell me how to do all this. And it's like, okay, sure, get one of those and get a coach because it is perspective. Like your coach is there to remind you that you're actually not in love with the problem anymore. You're falling into the trap of you're only seeing your solution. And then
Yeah.
you're wondering why things are not working. And it's like, well, have you actually listened? How are you listening to the feedback, right? Like, what lens are you looking through right now? What would be a different lens? And so important for founders to have that outside perspective that is really there, champion them, and also hold a mirror up to them to be like, this is happening.
Absolutely. And it's such a challenging process because I think for most of it, it probably feels like you're failing. I know it's true for me. Like since I started this, like I have moments where it's like, I just don't feel like I'm making the progress I want, right? It's like a step two forward and then a step back, right? And you're like, did I even move? Right. So I think having that like outside perspective can help you to show like, hey, I am making progress. It's just, this is part of the process, right? The win, the losses, whatever, however you want to label things, it's part of that process to figure out, okay, how do I best deliver something to my clients or customers that helps to solve their problem, right? Make their whatever life or process easier. And that's kind of the goal. But it's hard to stay in that mindset on your own. I think you can really get caught up in it.
Totally. I wanted to just go back to what you said about the steps forward or back and forward. Because honestly, when I heard that, when you're like, because I feel the same way, you're one step back, two forward, all of that. And then I had to laugh because that is actually what the cha-cha is. So really, really dancing to like the beginning of the conversation around dancing. It's like, yeah, actually the cha-cha is like back, forward, step, 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 right? Like, and so if we can kind of like remind ourselves that like, oh, that one step back is just getting my hips ready so that I can cha-cha forward.
Yes.
And the other thing I was going to say that I had to really shift my like perspective on was how was I defining success? Being that a lot of what is the source of many people's stress, myself included, is am I successful enough? Am I good enough? Am I blah, 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 blah? Being like, well, what am I defining as success? If it is, am I just defining it based on the type of client that I'm landing? Am I basing it on how much money I'm making? If I'm basing it on this, this, and this, then okay, how am I measuring that, right? There's no right or wrong way to do it, but how am I actually doing it? And then that really brought to the surface for me, again, going back to values, one of the reasons I wanted to have my own business was to be able to have the flexibility and the agency of my own time and schedule. And so I started doing this practice and I still do it 4 years later, where every Friday I sit down and like I write what my celebrations and wins are. And I noticed at the beginning, it was all about like, did I sign a new client? Did I do this? Did I do that? And I was like, this is not making me feel good. And then I was like, wait a second, what were the values that like, why did I do this in the first place? What was the purpose? So then I started looking at like, oh, I got to go for an hour and a half walk in the middle of the day because I wanted to, or I took a nap because I was so exhausted. So I was like, nope, I'm going to take a nap. Right. Or I was able to go see that show on a Wednesday afternoon because I got to make my schedule and I could support my friend in their new musical. Right. Like those were things that were really important to me. And I was like, oh, but I'm not measuring success by those things. I'm measuring them by these other things that a business mentor would tell me I need to measure my success by, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that obviously I need to be making money in order to, those are important.
Yes.
But like when you're not making money the way you want at different times, because it's up and down as the entrepreneur, being like, and there are other things that I can measure my success by that are actually really aligned with who I am and what's important to me.
Definitely. And I think for founders, certain things have to happen, right? And, before you land your first client or customer, there's a whole process that you have to go through where you're talking to a lot of people and it feels like nothing is happening. But what's happening is you're practicing your pitch, you're practicing your sales, right? And then when you meet that alignment with the client who's like, no, this resonates with me, then you sign that client, right? But we don't see that process as helpful, right? We just see like, oh, well, another no, or like, this isn't moving anywhere. But I think if we can enjoy that part of the journey too, it can really help us to kind of stay motivated to keep going, because part of it is just the long game, right? It's like, how long did you stay with it? Because something is going to happen if you stay with it long enough.
I love that reminder because it really is. And I was listening to a podcast this morning and I'm not going to remember how they said it. And it was a guy who's a director but was a stunt person for a while. And he was saying that him and his friend, when they were much younger in their career, overheard these two women, this was like in LA, I think, saying something about like practice plus like timing equals magic or something like that. And the idea that you have to keep practicing to get to the place of confidence and embodiment and all of that. And then when the timing comes up, you are ready because you've been practicing, right? So when that opportunity comes, it's not just an overnight thing. I think that's the thing that's hard in our society is everyone thinks it's an overnight thing. But when you really dive deep into people's stories, they've been doing it for a long time. They've kept the motivation. They've taken breaks when they needed to. What I was really hearing from you is like, they had this growth mindset of like, okay, I didn't land that client, but what did I learn from that pitch? What felt like it resonated? Where do I feel like I need to practice a little more? What is it that I have to develop a little more? And just continuing to go and try and try. And that is where having like therapy and your own coach and stuff can help with the resilience and everything like that. Because then when the timing is right and that opportunity comes, oh, you're ready for it.
Yes.
And so much of it is about timing. And you're not going to shy away from the opportunity because you got it. You can hit it out of the park.
Thank you for joining us on the Little Pursuits podcast. Please follow, subscribe, and share this with one builder who needs it. Check out the show notes for links to connect with us and our guests.